Since this whole situation happened with Charlie Kirk, I've been thinking, how can I approach this without being too emotional about the situation and many other feelings that you get when someone that you felt you knew but you didn't know, even though they did certain things that you disagree with, was just assassinated for doing what he believed. And even as it was happening, you could see many people in the media justifying what had happened, saying that he was an extremist. And I want to bring to a topic in a video that I made a while back that I was describing what is the far right. And why do you see the term far right coming up in politics? Why do you see people being called Nazis or right-wing extremists? Why do you see that? The problem is this is a process of dehumanizing the opposition. You dehumanize the opposition by calling them repeatedly a name to dehumanize that person. You know who did that? Hitler did that with the Jews. That's exactly the same playbook. And people need to realize, whoever is on the left that's still reasonable, whenever you see calling somebody that you know, that you might disagree with, that you might hang out with, and something pops in your head that to call him, oh, he's a far right, and think, what is a far right? Because many times, even in these debates, educated people in colleges, you see them call him a fascist. And what does a fascist do to opposition, to the people that disagree with them? They want to silence them. That's exactly what they did to Charlie. Not the other way around. Despite how much you disagree with the guy. Personally, I have many disagreements with the guy. I follow him every now and then, but I wasn't really close. But it did touch home because the guy's not a politician. The guy's not calling for bad things to happen to other people. I've seen worse people say worse things and not be in the eye of the storm as he was. The problem is, in order to get the one side of the aisle so enraged to vote for them, people have resorted to call the other side an extremist. And I know many people, friends of mine, who see it that way. I know people who, just because somebody you disagree with them, you can see the tone on their face, how it changes whenever the word Trump comes around or something about Republicans. Personally, not a Republican. I mean, we have two parties in the US, so your choices are limited. But we shouldn't see as the other side as that. We should be able to separate who is really a Nazi or an extremist. We should be able to point those out without pulling the whole group that way. And again, not to get it wrong, I have seen this from the right as well, calling people that are not a communist, call them a communist. And I'm seeing people that are leftists, that are far left, calling them liberals. No. The person that's tolerant for other people having a different opinion that they disagree with you, that's a liberal. Bill Maher is a liberal. A person who wants to silence you because you disagree with them, that's not a liberal. That's closer to a communist, that's a Marxist. That's not the same, that we're not talking about the same people here. And I was watching this video where they ask, how do you build from here? How do you improve the situation? And the way you improve the situation and stop this from happening is stop dehumanizing the other side. Stop dehumanizing the other side and call out your own side. When somebody on your side does something extreme, like what this guy did, or where somebody's planning to do certain bad things to other people, you should be able to point it out and say, I'm not with this guy. This guy is an extreme far left. This guy is an extreme far right, because he wants to, he not only has a belief, but he wants to force his belief via violence. That's not the American culture that we normally had. And it has been going down significant year over year. Just because we don't want to talk to the other side. Just we want to feel comfortable in an echo chamber. And we're finding more things to find that the other person is despicable. No. If you justify thinking the other side is despicable, not far from now we're gonna have a civil war. Because when you see that other side as lesser than human, that's what you're incentivizing. And nobody needs that. I felt after the Donald Trump thing, we were going to tone down the situation. I mean, I hoped, to be honest. I didn't think it was going to happen because Trump is a polarizing person and either you love him or you hate him. But the fact that many people on the left are putting them in the same box is extremely, extremely disgusting. And I want to bring this up because there was this article, if I'm not recall, from Stanford, saying that 34% of students, college students, believe that it's justified to use violence to silence the other side. What are we teaching people in schools? What are those teachers saying and convincing kids? Because I have seen it personally. I have seen people that right before they went to college, they were one person, and 2 years after, they come out, and I'm like, what the hell just happened here? Not one. I can recall at least 5 people. Different families, different backgrounds. And it's not a coincidence. And the problem is, we cannot be harvesting kids to be enemies of of your neighbor. It just can't happen. It's okay to disagree with another person. I'm not a religious person. Just because I'm not a religious person doesn't mean I have to be on the throat of somebody who is. As long as you're not forcing other people to be a certain way, and people are sometimes are not able to differentiate different states, different locations. Just because something happening in, for example, in California, that doesn't mean it's affecting you in Texas. You can criticize it, but you have to be in context. And you have to be able to tone it down. Just because somebody disagrees with you on abortion and that person is pro-life does not mean that person is an extremist. They disagree with you. And like anyone who disagrees with you, they're going to be supporting policies that are going to be opposite to you, but don't put them into a box of an extremist. Because you're going to escalate the situation further than it has. A 22-year-old ruined his life and ruined the life of somebody who probably didn't know him. 31-year-old with a family, 2 kids. Come on, guys. Is that really what we have come to? Is that really what has happened? Let's stop the nonsense and let's treat each other as human beings. Let's not become fascist, as Hitler did, as the communists did with landowners, where they dehumanize those people in order to justify the means that they did to their land. This doesn't happen. This happens on both sides of the authoritarian side. This is not a new thing. How do you think the Russians justify murdering millions, imprisoning people in the gulags? How do you think that happens? It's a process of dehumanizing the person. The same that happened with the Jews. We cannot get there. We cannot get there because first, it's going to turn out ugly because we're going to have a civil war. Then we're not longer going to be the superpower in the world. And oh boy, people are going to starve. And then you're going to forget how we got there. I think this should be a wake-up call for any of the reasonable people, left, right, and center.